if you know much about that, but with animalism, they believe animals have a soul.
Yeah, no, definitely. But is that really a thing called animalism? I thought that
Yeah,
was just
well,
common
they
knowledge.
not just animals, even like trees,
Trees and everything they do though.
everything.
Like, have you ever talked to a tree? Most people say no, so it wouldn't be strange if not. But if you listen, everything. Like my cat talks to me. I can hear her. Yesterday, I ended up giving her a shower. She hates water, and like she talks, but it's like a telepathic type thing. The same with the trees. You can hear. They give you messages. They can tell you which direction to go, why not to go a certain way. Like I think that's crazy. Pocahontas is something that kind of like elaborates on this a little, but Pocahontas kind of got swept under the rug as a classic. It was there and then it wasn't type of thing. But it's crazy because there's a lot of truth in that, just from experience more than it is from actual anything else.
Hmm. So after that, I think we also need to go over Philo of Byblos.
He's next on our thing.
Yeah.
No, actually, Tawitis is next on the thing.
No, he's actually still a part of the Neoplatonism situation. So once I read him, we'll be finished with Neoplatonism. And now Tawitis, we can do Tawitis, but do you want to get into the good stuff? Do you want to get into Nicole and Dionysus? Or do you want we
I mean, whatever you feel like will be more interesting towards the play.
like you want it, it's up to you. I mean, I'm good with it. We can cover Philo.
Tawitis is just next.
Yeah.
We've been talking about him a lot. The reason why I said that is because Porphyri, Malchus of Tyree, right after we read his paragraph, is Tawitis of Byblos or Toad. And that's why I was saying we could, but if we have
Well, give us
something, I see what you're saying, Diodorus.
yeah. So
I see now what you were saying.
it's up to you. I mean,
It's up to you. You keep telling me it's up to me. I'm telling you it's up to you. I mean, like,
it's not really that big of a
maybe if
description.
you want to surprise me,
It's not really a big description of it. So, I mean,
so then let's do both if we have time. Let's start with
exactly
Diodorus. Yeah, let's do that. And if we have time, we'll go. Yeah.
No, let me go
Diodorus.
ahead. I'll put up the link for that one. Philo of Byblos. Like I said, it's pretty short. So, Philo of Byblos.
Philo of Byblos, you mean right here?
Yeah.
In our Phoenician okay.
Also known as Herennius Philon, was an antiquarian writer of grammatically, lexical, and historical works in Greek. He is chiefly known for his Phoenician history, assembling from the writings of Sanchuniathon. His life. Philo was born in the 1st century in Byblos, in what is now Lebanon. He lived into the reign of Hadrian, of which he wrote a history now lost. His name, Herennius, suggests that he was a client to the consul Suffectus Herennius Severus, through whom Philo may have achieved the status of a Roman citizen. His works. Philo wrote a dictionary of synonyms, a collection of scientific writers and their works organized by category, a catalog of cities with their famous citizens, and a vita of the Emperor Hadrian. Some of his work is known to us by titles only. Others have survived in fragmentary quotes in Christian authors. Among his works are On the Acquisition of the Choice of Books, on cities and their famous men, epitomized by the grammarian Julius Soranus, and one of the chief authorities used by Hesychius and Stephanus of Byzantium, on synonyms of which there is extant an epitome by Ammonius Grammaticus. Grammaticus. But he is chiefly known for his translation of the Phoenician history of Sanchuniathon, who was said to have lived before the Trojan War. Huh?
Nothing. We read this last week.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop it right there. Now, do you want to go over to Wattis?
Today, or you mean next week? We can, if you want to. I'll read it. Yeah.
Go for it. Is it long?
Okay. No, it's just a little paragraph. It's really simple.
All right.
Tawadis of Biblius or Toth came from Biblius, Phoenicia, 2000 BC. According to the Egyptians, language is attributed to Tawadis, who was the father of tautology or imitation. He had been the first written character 2,000 years because, or earlier, he played his flute. Oh, that's neat. He played his flute to the chief deities of Biblius, the moon goddess, Balat Nickel. Tawadis was called Toth by the Greeks and Jihatai by the Egyptians. Jihetu. The mythology of Tawadis is echoed in the god of Dionysus or Injorth.
Yeah.
Injorth, the snake priest, who was the consort to the moon goddess. The snake priest was also represented by the symbol of a pillar, a wand, or a caduceus. The Greek equated Thoth with the widely traveled Hermes. According to the Egyptian tradition, Osiris traveled the world with Thoth. Asclepios, aka as Eshmun, is responsible for carrying on the teaching of Tawadis on snake priesthood. Under the protective umbrella of Hindu culture, snake charmers playing their nasal punji echoed the same tradition. In the early ages of Christianity, some monks, such as Pachomius, was a seraphic priest before he became a Christian. Similarly, Ormus is said to have been a seraphic priest before being converted by Saint Mark. Some believe that he fused those mysteries with Christianity and established a school of Solomonic wisdom. And then it just cites the abstracts here.
Now, I do have a small piece on Nicole, and I can read that to give you a break. But on Dionysus, their wiki is huge. Okay, so I can share that wiki on here, and then on our live chat 24 or our live chat chat. You know what I mean? And we can go through that maybe at another time. But this is huge. Like they have epithets and origins and stuff like that. So that right there by itself would take forever. But Nicole is one that I think we should really work on, because this is the Canaanite goddess that they mention in the writing that you just read. Baalat Nicole, which is the moon goddess.
I'm about to look at it now.
So, I've got the link down there in the Jitsi if you want to read that. That's a hard one to find, but it's the second to the bottom.
Oh, the second to the bottom, not Dino.
Yeah, Dionysus is the equivalent of her.
Ready? Okay, Nicole.
You want
Nikal is the can.
you want to read it?
Okay. Nikal is the Canaanite goddess of fruits and fertility, who is a goddess of orchards. Her husband is the moon god Yarick, who causes the dew to fall each night and water her trees so that they may thrive. Her name comes from the West Semitic Iyat Inibi, or goddess of fruit, and she is also called Nikol Waib, meaning great lady and fruitful. She is the daughter of the summer god Kirkihibi, who did not at first want her to marry Yarek, and instead suggested he marry either it should be she oh maybe it was him. He married either Padraria or Yaberdame, both daughters of Baal, after a generous bride price was offered, made up of 1,000 pieces of silver, 10,000 pieces of gold, and including necklaces made of lapis lazuli. I remember, and that's a beautiful blue. I remember. Appropriate coming from a god of the night sky. Kirkihibi relented and the two were wed. Later, the no, that's not it. Kothiriat, the skillful goddess of marriage and childbirth, came to oversee the birth of the son of Nicol and Yarika. Yarik. Alternately, Nicol is sometimes called the daughter of Dagon or Dajon of Tutul, who, like Nicol Wa'ib, is a deity of fertility and agriculture, specifically a wheat god credited with inventing the plow. The goddess Ningol of Sumeria, with whom Nicol had been identified, is often depicted before a date tree and other important fruit trees of the area that would have been in Nicol's orchard are the olive, fig, and apple, along with the nut trees such as the pistachio, walnut, and almond. Her connection with Yarrick has sometimes caused her to be labeled a goddess of the moon herself. Given that the moon is almost always considered male in the Semitic culture, I find this unlikely. Her Sumerian equivalent is Ningal, the great lady, wife of Nana, the moon god. Their twin children are Inanna, goddess of the planet Venus, and Utu, the son of God. The son of God. Utu, the son of God.
The sun
In the
god.
later but closely related Babylon tradition, she is still called Ningal, but her husband, the moon god, is named Sin. Their children are Ishtar, wow, and Shamash, wow, okay,
Hmm.
the sun god, who is a male version of the Canaanite sun god Shapash. We read about all these people.
Yep.
She is sometimes simply called Ib, the fruitful one. Nikal Wa'ib has also been interpreted as Great Lady and Bright, Great Goddess of Fruit or Fruit of the Earth, the meaning of the name of her, and it
Her
kind of goes
Sumerian.
off like I don't see
The
anything
meaning
else.
of
Oh, there
her
you go.
Sumerian Babylonian counterpart, Ningal, is the lady of the temple. Now, when they say Inanna, they're talking about Ishtar too. So, because Ishtar or Inanna eventually became Ishtar. So, just to let you know. And
It's the
Ningal.
same.
Now they're saying that Ningal and Inanna were officially their parents. So that says it here. I'll have to find out if that's actually true because I'd like to know that. That's one thing that got me curious about it because who was actually Inanna and Shamash's parents? Because it gets kind of confusing in the tablets. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't know for sure if that's actual fact. But I was under the impression before now that Nana was her father. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I heard you say that, and because father, Nana means father or dad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that when I first met you.
And they had twins, and
Ishtar and Utu, or what wasn't it? Ishtar was
Ishtar and freaking
Utu, UTU.
no, Shamash.
Oh no,
And
no.
um, Obtu is Obtu Shamash.
See, it says equivalent with Great Lady. Their twin children are Inanna and Utu. It doesn't say anything about.
Utu is Shamash.
Oh, Ishtar and Shamash. I see what you're saying. So they're just saying in different cultures. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Oh, okay. So
Inanna,
Utu and Inanna, yeah.
Ishtar is Inanna, and Shamash is
Utu.
Utu.
I got it.
So, and I'm glad somebody actually did that on their page, because that's a good issue. And I also want to point out too, before we go through this, a lot of people get the Sumerians mixed up with the Babylonians. All right, and they're two completely different cultures. I know there's civilizations, right. Don't get me wrong, but there's cultures within the civilizations. You know what I mean? But they're two completely different ones. So when you're reading through a lot of the Sumerians, you'll hear people incorporate Babylonian text into it, and it's not there at that time. You know what I mean? So that's really important to understand.
I've heard Babylonian and Canaanite cross a lot. Well, at least they not by the culture itself, but just as descriptions. But I'm just learning how a lot of these do. Because even with Phoenician and Egyptian, there's a lot of culture that's like, but the Phoenician, just where the empire is, the territory is, it's so close, it only makes sense for it to cross over into, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's me. Just because where it is in relation, when you think about the trade and stuff like that, they traded right along like that area. So I don't know, it just makes sense that they would share some similarities within culture. But for it to be completely different and it to be so parallel or so mixed up, I'll say, it's just interesting in itself. I wonder what side is right? The side that's connecting it and correlating it, or the side that's separating it, saying, oh, it's not. Like, are they more similar than we really know, or, you know what I mean? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, I know that as time went by, a lot of these beliefs got kind of intermingled together. And tonight, like, it really amazed me, because like I've known about the Amorites, but I thought it was the other way around. You know what I mean? I thought that Sumerians, and I guess everybody does that, since the Sumerians were the older ones, I thought maybe that it freaking their beliefs migrated outward. But like tonight, they're saying that the Amorites actually influenced well, they didn't technically say Sumerians, though.